Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Egld. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right-hand corner of the screen. Now, let's jump straight into the TA. So we are here on the daily chart. We still have the same Fibonacci retracement on the chart, with the swing high printed in November of 2021 and with the swing low printed in June of 2021. If you don't know how to use the Fibonacci retracement, feel free to go into the description. There is going to be a link to a video where I explain how to use the Fibonacci retracement and how I use it on the charts. It is a very important part of my technical analysis, so if you want to understand everything that I'm talking about, then you have to get familiar with the Fibonacci retracement. Now, moving on, as you can see, we have come back down below the swing low here, which was at $53.69. So we've not really come back down and retested any of the extension levels down below here, which were our technical targets after you lose the swing low. And right now what is happening is we came down and now potentially we're coming up to retest this as resistance and then come back down. In a bearish scenario, that would be the case. In the bullish case, what we would need to do in order for us to confirm that the bottom is in and we're heading towards the upside, we would need to be breaking this high here, this August 2022 high. And I'm talking about this August high for most of the projects and especially for Bitcoin. Once Bitcoin does that, I think it's fairly safe to say that the bottom has been printed in. So if Egld starts doing something like this and we continue on and we take out the 786 here and then we come back down for retracement and we don't lose the swing low, that is when I think we're going to be in a very good situation, and I think the bottom is going to be in at that point. And yeah, that's what I see. In case we see a flash crash, in case we see any sort of capitulations, any black swan events, you should have your buy limit orders set up in advance as always. And you can do so, throughout this area here, all the way down to $28.56, which is going to be our technical target here, our minimal target after losing the first fib level. The 1.272 is your minimal target, and we could by all means do that here. This could be just a little local high, a lower high for that matter, as you're constantly printing lower lows and lower highs, and you're in this downtrend, and this could be the continuation of the downtrend. So we're going to need to be breaking major resistance levels, first the November 2022 high, then the August 2022 high. Once we do that, we're all set. Now, zooming in here, let me just remove that final drawing. I think it's stuck there. There we go. So zooming into the daily chart here, we have another Fibonacci retracement set up, and you can see that we have the swing low all the way down here in December and at the beginning of January, and we have the swing high all the way at the start of December. And we're coming up to that swing high, we're coming up to that resistance. So this potentially could be a double top pattern where we're going to have a target to the downside if we lose the low here. Or if we continue breaking to the upside, we're going to have a target to the upside here, and $58.50 is going to be our target, because that is the 1.618 Fibonacci retracement, which becomes your technical target after you break above the first fib level. Now that also lines up perfectly with this local high we printed in November, so this could all come into play here and we might see retracement afterwards. So if you're looking to take some profits and you don't necessarily want to exit Egld just yet and you are feeling frisky, you want to go higher, then you can set up some sell orders around this 1.618 area. And you can also take a look at these two extension levels as well, obviously the 1.414 and the 1.272. In the last video, I did say that we are probably going to run into this resistance level at $45.87. We have done exactly just that, as you can see, and from here, we're potentially going to see a pullback to the golden ratio all the way down to $40.60. So that is going to be a 12% pullback. So $40.60 is going to be your minimal target here for a potential retracement. And as you can see right now, we find ourselves in a channel up pattern. And historically, if you take a look at all of these channel patterns on Egld that we've had, you can see that every time you are in a channel up pattern, you break to the downside, like over here. Every time you're in a channel down pattern, you break to the upside. So right now we are in a channel up pattern, and the target to the downside is going to be potentially what you could do is you could target this swing low here at $38.88. That's going to be the 0.5 on the Fibonacci retracement. That's another target for you. But also you should understand that what could happen is that we might come back down all the way to 32 cents, which is where we started retracing from. Because projects like to do this sometimes. This is how the charts play out. You start coming to the upside, you have a retracement down, you confirm this level as support, and then you continue. That would be perfect. That would open up so many buying opportunities for so many altcoins, but we don't know if that's going to happen. So you have to be ready for this outcome, and you have to be ready for this outcome. That's what I try to teach here on the channel. So set up those buy limit orders. Hopefully we're going to be sitting at the all-time high prices at the end of the year, or let's say early 2024, maybe 2024 in March, April, and we're going to see higher highs from there into 2025. Now the daily RSI here, let's bring that up. We just went below the white support trend line, so that was a good buying opportunity short term, but I think at least retesting the yellow trend line is what we should be expecting here, because we're quite overextended here. And if I zoom out off of the daily chart on the RSI and I bring up the price action chart, you can see that there is a bearish divergence here playing out. So with the price action, you can see that you're constantly going higher. The highs are constantly higher. Now, if you go to the RSI, you can see that that's the exact opposite. The highs are constantly lower, and this is called a bearish divergence. Now, this usually is followed up by a pullback, and this pullback is where we should be entering. And you have your support levels already, so let's not talk about those again. And I do want to switch over to the Binance website. Jumping into the weekly chart on Binance, as you can see, we have the support block, our support block that we're in right now, and we're trying to break out of it. So that's set up between $45 and $35. If we start breaking above that and we start back testing it as support, that's going to be very bullish. You can see that we're running into the 20 EMA on the weekly chart, which is something that I said is possible. So you could have taken some profits here, and maybe you could look for a nice pullback below $40 and you can enter 15% cheaper if that is going to happen. What is also possible is that we have another strong impulsive move here, or we start having a little pullback, then we have a little pullback, and then you start another impulsive move to the upside. You get absolutely overextended, and you reach, for example, let's say $66, which is the August high, and you get a pullback from there. That is also something that could happen. So I will not be selling any Egld right now. If I'm going to be swing trading, I will let my patrons know first on the Patreon. The link is going to be down below in the description. So that's something that you can be on the lookout for. If we go into, let's say, the 12-hourly chart, and let's see if we can see any sort of... Okay. So potentially what we could start doing here is we could start printing an Elliott wave theory structure. Okay, so you bring out your Elliott wave indicator, and this is going to be your first wave. So potentially we're going to be setting up our second wave here, which shouldn't go any lower than this low here, obviously. So potentially, let's say we come back down to $35, that would still be bullish. Then you have your major wave 3, let's say taking us to $60. Then you have your wave 4 retest, which shouldn't be lower than the wave 1 high. So let's say you come back down to around to below $50, and then you have your wave 5 potentially taking us to $67 within a span of a couple of months. Okay, potentially we get there, let's say by the end of March. Okay, and we're going to see a strong pullback from there, and then we have another impulsive move into August, because usually we do see strong moves into August from July and June, and then we see another pullback, okay, and then we see that impulsive move that's going to take us into the bull market. Potentially, that's something that could play out here. So I'm just saying this is a potential structure here on the 12-hourly chart. On the weekly RSI, you can see that our major resistance level is going to be all the way up here. So we want to be targeting this blue trend line. We could run into it as we've done previously. The volume indicator is doing pretty good right now. Good candles coming in. People starting to buy this token up, and I think a lot of smart people are doing so as well. This project could be very, very fruitful in the next bull market. If we bring out the Fibonacci retracement just to set up some targets for the long term, and let's use the candles here, the body of the candles for the swing lows and the swing highs, because that is technically the correct way of using the Fib retracement. You want to use the bodies of the candles, and our 1.618 here is going to be at $2,000, 123. Now, I don't think we're going to go that high, to be honest with you, because from where we are right now, that would be a 5,000%. Actually, that's not that high even. That's not even that high, but considering the market cap is currently sitting at $1 billion, around $1 billion, right? So I would say the 1.272 and the 1.414 are good targets. So $869 and $1,254. Those could be the targets for us in the next bull market. We're going to be taking a look at those prices, and those are going to be, like I said, our targets, because I think the 1.618 is a bit too far-fetched in this instance. So that is pretty much it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If I missed out anything important, please let me know down below in the comment section. Feel free to follow me on Twitter. There's going to be a free 7-day trial on my Patreon. Feel free to check that out, and I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.